So this rather good article from The Spectator comes up, and I agree 100% completely with it, because this is one of the things I've been saying for years. So the evidence shows that chiropractors do more harm than good. So one of my teachers in medical schools kept saying, a treatment that has no side effects is already a good one. These seem to be wise words worth remembering, but today I think he may have not been entirely correct. There is no therapy that does not have a potential to cause adverse effects. What really counts in life what really counts in life, as in medicine, is reasonable balance between risk and benefit. Chiropractic treatment is an excellent example of the importance of this balance. Chiropractors rely heavily on manipulating their patients' spines, and the benefits are not at all clear. Practitioners usually insist that their manipulations are effective for a bafflingly wide range of conditions. On the internet, for instance, it is hard to find an illness that chiropractors do not claim to cure, and we've covered all these ones before. However, the published evidence generally reveals that these claims to be little more than wishful thinking. Therefore, even relatively minor side effects might tilt the risk-benefit balance into the negative. Oh dear. There is now a lot of evidence showing that more than half of all patients suffered mild to moderate adverse effects after seeing a chiropractor. These are mostly local and referred pains that usually last for 2 to 3 days. Chiropractors often claim that these are necessary steps on the road to getting better. How many times when we've covered these alternative therapy quacks, whenever a patient goes into pain, their excuse is, oh, it's just your body reacting. These are healing reactions. On a good day, we might even believe them. But unfortunately, there is more, much more. Several hundred cases have been documented in which patients were seriously and often permanently damaged after chiropractic manipulations. The latest to hit the headlines was that of a 32-year-old woman from Jakarta who died after being treated by an American chiropractor. What usually happens in these tragic instances is that upon manipulation of the upper spine, an artery supplying the brain is overstretched and simply breaks up, leading to a stroke which can prove fatal. And we've done a video on this before. There is a strong link to people who have bad heart conditions or who are old, and even people who maybe you have a history of this in your family. If you have that, you should never ever go to a chiropractor, and you should never ever let them touch you, because there is a strong link between that and shortly having a stroke in either shortly after or the next day. So chiropractors do not like to hear any of this. We can understand why, and either claim that these are extremely rare events or deny any connection with their manipulations. Regrettably, the hard evidence is not as solid as one would wish. In conventional medicine, we have effective systems to monitor adverse effects of all interactions. Not so in alternative medicine. Therefore, the true frequency of such tragedies is anyone's guess. And this is something I have said before. We do not know the harm all these quacks are causing, because they do not keep accurate and up-to-date records of their patients. So it's impossible to really know the untold damage these people could possibly be doing, because they do not keep accurate or close enough records to scrutinise the interactions they have with their patients. Therefore, the true frequency of such tragedies is anyone's guess. About 30 deaths after chiropractics have been documented in medical literature, but they are probably just the tip of a much bigger iceberg. We have shown, for instance, in the UK, underreporting of such instances is very close to 100%. So even if a chiropractor does harm to a patient, they are not obliged to report it. If something happens, say like someone does a chiropractic adjustment on someone and they go away and this person suffers a stroke or something like that, the chiropractor is not obliged to report it. And that's why you get the instance of 100%, because they don't report it. They don't think that it was their treatment that was to blame. So all clinicians, alternative or conventional, must obtain informed consent from patients before starting a therapy. This is the ethical imperative, means chiropractors must tell their patients firstly about the very limited evidence that spinal manipulations are effective, secondly about the possibility of causing serious harm, and thirdly about other treatments which might be better. But who would give their consent knowing all this? The way many chiropractors solve this dilemma is simple. They ignore the ethical imperative by treating patients without informed consent. There is evidence to suggest that only 23% of UK chiropractors report always discussing serious risk. So how can this be? Chiropractic is a respected and well-established profession, you might think. True, in the UK, chiropractors have been regulated for many years by statute and have their own Royal College and General Chiropractic Council. And we've talked about how awful the General Chiropractic Council is. But in July 2014, the Professional Standards Authority conducted an audit of the GCC. This concluded that although the GCC operations of its processes had not created risks to public safety, the extent of the deficiencies were found raised concerns about the extent to which the public can have confidence of the General Chiropractic Council's operations. So even this body said, yeah, we find some serious problems with the regulatory board. What a surprise! I've often said that even the best regulated of nonsense must result in nonsense. The PSA's verdict seems to support my view, as long as serious doubts about the value and integrity of chiropractics exist, we should remember an important foundation of healthcare. The Practoria principle, which compels us, whenever possible, only to use those therapies demonstratively generate more good than harm. A critical analysis of the evidence shows that chiropractors do not belong in this category. And I've been saying this for years, and I would love for a movement to now actually start to actually act upon that report. But to be honest, what it really needs is government backing, and it needs government to actually get their arse in gear. The problem is that, as I've said time and time again, Brexit, what a surprise, is going to override most of these concerns. That's why I've been talking a lot about Brexit on my channel, because overall, yes, chiropractors will do harm. Brexit, however, is going to do enormous damage to this country on unprecedented scales. So for those of you who have subscribed to my channel for all this kind of stuff, I do apologise, but I must prioritise, you know, where I see some of the dangers to this country actually being. And at the moment, chiropractors and the alternative health quacks are not top of my list. But I will keep on still doing these videos, don't worry about it. And maybe one day, but it'll take some time, we might, revert to what we used to be talking about doing, on this channel, quack bashing and exposing them for what they used to be. But Brexit's not going away anytime soon, unfortunately.